Hi, this is John Carey. I'm one of the marketing folks at Cengage Learning. Have you been searching for a money and banking solution for your students that actually engages them? It's not the same old, the traditional that has been used forever. You may be interested in the next few minutes when Mike Brandl from The Ohio State University talks about his new entry into money banking, financial markets, and institutions. And at the end, I'll tell you how you can get a demonstration of this exciting new product on your own. Okay.
Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining us today. My name is Casey Binder. I am the marketing coordinator for the economics discipline here at Cengage Learning. And today I have here with me Dr. Michael Brandl. Dr. Brandl is the author of Money Banking, Financial Markets, and Institutions. Dr. Brandl is a member of the economics department at The Ohio State University. Before becoming to OSU, he taught at the University of Texas, Austin, where he received multiple teaching awards. Professor Brandl and his work has been cited in numerous national media outlets including CBS Evening News, The Economist, Forbes, National Public Radio, USA Today, The Wall Street Journal, and The Washington Post. His animated concept clips for economics are currently being used by thousands of students around the world. Welcome, Professor Brandl. Tell us, why another money and banking text? Aren't they all the same?
Thank you, Casey. They are to a certain extent. What oftentimes happens is in the money and banking and financial markets and institutions course is that the students never actually wind up reading the book. And so that makes it so much more difficult for us as faculty members. So what happens is even though the books may be technically correct and we read through them and they seem to make sense to us, when it comes to that millennial generation, sitting down and getting them to try to read through 45 pages of technically correct, but oftentimes not very lively material becomes very difficult. So in putting together this book, what we decided to do was to try to really aim it at the students, to take this very interesting and fascinating subject that has so dramatically changed since the crisis of 2008 and make it lively and engaging to get the students excited and to get them talking amongst themselves about this important topic.
So, from your experiences, are there any particular difficulties that students regularly face in this course, and how do you address these in this text?
One of the things that we see is students come into money and banking and they expect it to be things that they're seeing in the financial and business press. And oftentimes there's this huge disconnect. Now what happens is they get inundated with shifting lines around or solving equations, but they really don't see how this ties into what they're seeing in the Financial Times, the Wall Street Journal, they're reading about in The Economist. And so what we do is we try to make it so that it is usable, it is applicable. Yes, we're going to go through some important concepts and build out some important models like the loanable funds framework. We're also going to show them why it's relevant, why it matters, and how they can use these things that they're learning in the course to better understand what they're seeing in the business press, and it'll ultimately help them throughout the rest of their career. That's probably one of the biggest problems that we see in money and banking, is being able to try to make that connection between what's going on in the course and what they're actually seeing happening in reality.
Great. So I noticed that the text is set up as a series of sections within chapters. So these smaller chunks of information have review questions following each one. What was the thought behind that?
The thought was that this is the millennial generation, right? This is the Twitter generation. This is a generation that gets their information in small little bites, and they're oftentimes multitasking. So to get them to sit down and read through 65 or 70 pages at one sitting is almost impossible. So you know what happens when students are assigned to reading? Almost always the first thing that they do is they look at how long is this chapter going to be? And if it's 40 or 50 pages, they say, no, thanks, I'll get to that later. So what we did is we took that information and we chopped it up. We put it into little bite-sized portions for them, and we put questions at the end of each one of those little segments. Questions, some of which that they might see in a big class, a multiple choice question, and other questions designed to get them talking, to get them to discuss what they're reading and what they're seeing, because this generation also likes to converse with each other, but sometimes they have difficulty in figuring out how to start that conversation. So you see, at the end of each one of our little segments, we have open-ended questions, questions designed to get their minds going, to get them thinking, and to get them discussing.
Perfect. So I also saw that there is a pretty extensive and interactive digital component with this text. Can you talk a little about that?
That's right, because remember, this is the digital information generation. They use technology a great deal, and they use it not just for entertainment's sake, like Pokemon Go, they use it to learn, to discuss. Right? And so we wanted to make sure that our digital assets were short and were quick and to the point, and designed for them to watch it more than once. Because while this is a generation that multitasks, they'll also do the same thing over and over again. They'll watch the same video if they find it interesting more than one time. So our things like concept clips and our whiteboard demonstrations are all designed to be quick, to the point, and to get them to watch it more than once. And if they find it entertaining along the way, that's all the better.
Perfect. So final question. Economics professors can be pretty skeptical and certainly understand the economic cost of switching to a new text. Can you give me three quick reasons why a professor teaching money and banking would seriously consider this solution for their course?
It's because the benefits are going to outweigh the costs. First off, the big benefit they're going to get is the students are going to come to your class prepared, because they're going to watch the concept clips. They are going to go through those readings. Number two, we know that students learn the most not from us, but from each other. Students learn the most when they're discussing and talking about these concepts with each other. And that's what this book is going to get them to do. And number three, the costs really are not that high. If you actually look at the material that we're covering throughout the book, they're similar in other money and banking courses, but also offers the faculty member the ability to incorporate new and different material to keep it lively for us in terms of some topics we may not usually cover, but we might find interesting. Things like the mortgage market or things like private equity. So the benefits greatly outweigh the costs. So switch to Brandl's Money, Banking, Financial Markets, and Institutions, and you will find the marginal benefits are much greater than the marginal costs.
Thank you so much, Dr. Brandl.
My pleasure.
Well, thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more about this exciting new product, contact your local Cengage Learning consultant, or you can always contact me, John Carey, john.carey@cengage.com. Take care now. Well, thanks.